Donald Trump is still on trial, so let's catch up with another installment of America's Most Tremendously Wanted.
The whole thing is a scam.
Today was a big day for Donald Trump versus Johnny Law, with the former president fighting the man at every level of the legal system.
But things actually started off pretty good for Trump. After months of calling him unfit for office, Trump's former Attorney General Bill Barr said he's voting for him anyway. And Trump responded with as much grace as you would expect.
So the former president posting on Truth Social this, quote, "Wow, former Attorney General Bill Barr has just endorsed me for president, despite the fact that I called him weak, slow-moving, lethargic, gutless, and lazy. Based on the fact that I greatly appreciate his wholehearted endorsement, I am removing the word lethargic from my statement. Thank you, Bill."
Donald Trump is the king of pettiness. I am positive in an alt universe, Trump was a sorority president, just dripping with shade. Like, wow, Bill, I love that bikini. You're so brave to be wearing that. You go, girl.
I mean, it does look like Trump hates Trump ass kisses as much as the rest of us do. Because he'll be like, kiss the ring, and then when they do, he's like, I can't believe you kissed the ring, you little bitch.
So Trump was riding that sick burn high this morning all the way into court, where he was confronted with testimony from the head of the National Enquirer, who wasn't afraid to spill some tea.
Publisher David Pecker returned to the witness stand this morning and explained how he engineered a deal to buy the silence of Karen McDougal, a Playboy model who claims she had an affair with Trump. Pecker claims he had a deal with Trump and his attorney Michael Cohen to be on the lookout for damaging stories about Trump.
He would buy stories that were unflattering to Trump, and then he would kill them to make sure they didn't become public. Was today a bad day for Donald Trump?
I can't read his mind, but he looked pretty miserable.
Oh, really? He looked miserable. He's not one of those jovial criminal defendants. Coming to court with a smile on his face and a spring in his step as he stares down a future full of prison gangs, public pooping, and shoddy heroin balloons migrating up his colon. Shocker.
Yeah. But yes, David Pecker, pun intended, testified that he brought up and buried negative stories about Donald Trump to help him win the 2016 election, which sounds crazy, but you gotta remember, this was way back in 2016 when negative stories were a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Now we know that every new scandal just cancels out a different scandal until you become president. But because this is Donald Trump, he wasn't involved in just one court case today. While he was in New York, his lawyers were in front of the Supreme Court arguing that Trump should have complete legal immunity for anything he did while president. And I do mean complete immunity.
If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
I object to this guy's voice. Can someone get him a lozenge or something? But I mean, sorry, you may continue.
How about if a president orders the military to stage a coup?
I think it would depend.
That's immune.
I think it would depend on the circumstances whether it was an official act. If it were an official act.
If a president sells nuclear secrets to a foreign adversary, is that immune?
Well, I don't know in the hypothetical whether or not that would be an official act.
Okay, look, can we stop giving Trump ideas, okay? Yeah, he's listening to this like, oh, selling nuclear secrets? I should write this down.
Yeah, it sounded like they were loose pitching Netflix action thrillers in the room. Like, in order to save his nation, the president must strangle an opponent in a public death match. Liam Neeson is immune from prosecution. Now, that's very good. That's very good. That's very good. Very good. Now, the Trump legal team doesn't really believe the total immunity argument. They're just bringing it up to delay his trials. It's kind of like when your kid asks for water at bedtime and you know they're just trying to delay bedtime because kids don't need water.
So I'm pretty sure kids do need water.
No, you're thinking of plants. The wild thing is that the court's conservative majority seems like it's actually going to accept at least part of Trump's argument.
By the end of the hearing, the conservative majority seemed to express a desire to create some kind of limited immunity for official acts for presidents.
So, this is where we're at. The conservative justices think Trump should have immunity. The liberal justices don't. How about we meet halfway? Instead of complete immunity, presidents get a hall pass of 5 crimes that are totally okay if you have the chance. For example, mine would be bribery, insurrection, wire fraud, perjury, and Lenny Kravitz. Money laundering. Money laundering. I got my hall passes mixed up.
Right, yeah, it is kind of crazy. The Supreme Court might actually make the president immune from the law. Isn't this America's whole thing? Is no kings. That's why those people threw the tea in the river. What a waste. They could have kept all that tea.
Yeah, that's my main concern as well, Ronnie. But with all this, there is still a presidential race going on. So, this morning, Donald Trump made a campaign stop on his way into court. And Fox News was there to drink it up.
Breaking this morning, former President Donald Trump making a surprise campaign stop in the last hour at a construction site in Midtown.
He's taking his time with everyone, talking to people, shaking hands, taking selfies. Look at him with this man with the hard hat, taking a picture, thanking him for being there, patting his back. He grew up in New York, grew up in construction on these sites, and now he's talking to the men and women that build New York, that build all these buildings. He knows a lot about that. He's one of them.
Right.
Wow. He was clearly excited to be at a construction site. Shake a few hands, pat a few backs, show them some advanced catcalling techniques, the whole 9.
And those construction workers appeared to really love Trump. Mm-hmm. Either that or they showed up with all their unpaid invoices. Hey, can I get your autograph on this? Yeah, can you initial here and here, please? It's been years now.
For more on Donald Trump's day in the courts and on the campaign trail, we go down to the New York courthouse and Michael Costa. Michael, you were with Trump this morning at his campaign stop, right?
Yep, and once again, Trump proved that he is a man of the people. Blue-collar workers, union guys. Donald J. Trump is one of them. Clearly the J stands for Joe, as in Joe Sixpack, Average Joe, or Jolene because of the adultery.
Right. He's an everyman, a regular person. And what did Trump's lawyers argue at the Supreme Court today?
Their argument is quite simple, Ronnie. Donald Trump is not a regular person. He's not some blue-collar worker or a union guy. Donald J. Trump is an untouchable, godlike entity who lives above the law, right? Clearly, the J stands for judicially immune from all prosecution forever and all time. Amen.
But Michael, how does he square those two? That sounds totally contradictory.
No, not at all. Donnie Trump is a guy you can imagine having a beer with. He's also the guy who can murder the guy he's having a beer with. Because the law doesn't apply to him. Jordan, he's like J-Lo. Don't be fooled by the total immunity he's got. He's still Donnie from the block. Also, he's got a great ass.
Okay. Michael, how is he at all relatable to these construction guys?
Easy, Ronnie. Trump speaks the language of the common man. Hey, I'm walking here on my way to overthrow the government here. And it's legal what I'm doing under the auspices of an official act. Hey, pepperoni.
All right, so Trump is a regular guy.
No better than any of us.
Who is totally above the law.
Better than any of us. And it's probably hard for caviar slurping elitists like yourselves to understand, but Trump is a lot like these construction workers. Think of him as having a hard hat that protects him from any U.S. law and some safety goggles that shield him from seeing any jail time and of course, a trusty pair of work boots.
Oh, and let me guess. The work boots let him trample the Constitution.
No, the lift they provide highlights Donald J. Trump's great ass, right? Clearly, the J stands for Juicy Caboosey.
Okay, Michael Costa, everyone.